we shall talk about certain important concepts in the lesson applied biology. Now to start with, first the animal husbandry here. The most important points in this lesson I shall put before you. Now the animal husbandry here now, there is a research institute called National Dairy Development Institute, NDDI, National Dairy Development Institute. Now this National Dairy Development Institute was founded by Professor Kurian. It was founded by Professor Kurian, and he is also the founder of Anand Dairy of Gujarat. Anand Dairy of Gujarat, and he is considered as father of dairy technology in India. Father of dairy technology in India. He is the founder of NDDI and Anand Dairy of Gujarat, and is a father of dairy technology in India. Now Indian cow on an average gives about 170 liters per year, whereas in Denmark now it gives 4100 liters. Okay, the most efficient breeds now in Denmark, they give around 4100 liters now. Now Indian cow is considered as teacup cow. Teacup cow. Since the milk yielding is very less here now, Indian cow is considered as teacup cow. The most popular cow in India, is Murrah variety, and the most popular bull is that of Ongole variety. Most popular bull is that of Ongole variety, and the most popular cow in India is Murrah variety. Now these cattle, on the basis of their utility, they are divided into three types here now. Number one, milk breeders. Number two, drought breeders. Number three, dual purpose breeders. Dual purpose breeders, The most important exotic milk breeders are Holstein Friesian, Ayrshire, Jersey, Brown Swiss. They are the most important exotic popular milk breeders. Holstein Friesian, Ayrshire, Jersey, Brown Swiss. They give 30 liters of milk on an average per day. They give on an average 30 liters of milk per day. The imported high yielding varieties of cow and buffalo, bulls are all produced by various methods of breeding here now. The most important methods of breeding are inbreeding method. Inbreeding is the breeding of closely related individuals of a particular breed. If they are crossed, we call it inbreeding method. Inbreeding is again of two types here now: line breeding and close breeding. If the closely related individuals are crossed, you call it line breeding. If less close related individuals are crossed, you call it close breeding here now. In line breeding here now, a sire is crossed with a female offspring. Dam is crossed with a male offspring. Dam is crossed with male offspring. Then cousin matings can be called close breeding. Cousin mating or breeding can be called close breeding. In case of human population, cousin marriages are called consanguineous marriages. Consanguineous marriages. Now, for instance, Bos bubalis, okay, that is a cow, or Bos indicus, or a buffalo, it's a buffalo, they are crossed with a superior male variety. Superior male variety, this comes under close breeding, And in Bos bubalis, male is crossed with Bos bubalis female, or sire of Bos bubalis crossed with the female of Bos bubalis, this becomes line breeding, Okay. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of inbreeding? The advantages of inbreeding are you can maintain pure stock by crossing the animals by inbreeding method, Okay. Maintaining pure stock. A pure stock can be maintained by crossing the animals by inbreeding method. Homozygosity is increased among the animals. Homozygosity is increased and heterozygosity is decreased. Heterozygosity is decreased by means of inbreeding method, And by inbreeding method, certain desirable traits of organisms can be retained or kept up by inbreeding method. Suppose you take a prolific egg layer, if you want to keep up that particular trait, that prolific egg layer should be crossed with a cock of the same family. When it is crossed with the cock of the same family, the character is not only kept up, the magnification of the character goes on increasing in subsequent generations. Suppose it is crossed with a cock which entirely belongs to a different family, the character may come down, the desirable quality of the young one may come down in the subsequent progenies. So by inbreeding method, desirable traits can be kept up in the progeny, number one. Number two, homozygosity is increased and heterozygosity is decreased. Number two, pure stock can be maintained by inbreeding method. Okay. Then by inbreeding method is also used as a tool by the animal breeders, breeders to cull animals with undesirable traits, animals with deleterious genes, undesirable traits. Like when two animals are crossed by inbreeding method, the progeny, one or two animals may exhibit undesirable traits because of expression of recessive genes. So the animals with undesirable traits are isolated, they are kept aloof, and only the animals with desirable traits are picked up and they are further crossed by inbreeding method. So like when it is done for 4 to 5 generations, you can eliminate the animals with all undesirable traits. So it is used as a tool by the animal breeders to identify the animals with undesirable traits and subsequently to cull such animals from the healthy flock or from the entire breed of animals. Okay. So these are the advantages of inbreeding method. However, there are certain disadvantages also. The disadvantages are inbreeding, it makes the animals homozygous. As a result, homozygous animals may become vulnerable to different types of hostile environmental conditions. So as a result of inbreeding, the animals are vulnerable to hostile environmental conditions. When they are in heterozygous nature, they withstand hostile environmental conditions, but when they become homozygous, they are highly susceptible to different kinds of hostile environmental conditions, number one. Number two, it increases chances of expression of harmful genes. Okay, when the harmful genes are along with other genes, the heterozygosity nature of the animal keeps them suppressed, But when animal is crossed by inbreeding method, the harmful alleles get a chance to express themselves. As a result, the animals with harmful genes, exhibit certain unwanted traits, The phenomena of recurrence of undesirable traits as a result of inbreeding in subsequent generations is called inbreeding depression. Inbreeding depression. Inbreeding depression is the recurrence of undesirable traits as a result of crossing of animals by inbreeding method here now. Now, outbreeding. When the distantly related animals are crossed, you call it outbreeding method. Outbreeding is again of three types now. Outcrossing, crossbreeding, and species hybridization. Outcrossing is the crossing of different animals of a particular breed, Okay, the different animals of a particular breed who do not have the common ancestry either from the side of the male or either from the side of the female, So animals of a different breed, if they are crossed without having any common ancestry from both the sides of the breeders, it is called outcrossing, The young one that is produced by outcrossing is called outcross, For instance, you take like American variety, in American variety of poultry birds, there are Plymouth Rock, New Hampshire, Yandotte. So male of Plymouth Rock is crossed with New Hampshire, or female of New Hampshire is crossed with Yandotte. Like the different groups of the same breed, or different strains of the same breed, if they are crossed without having any common ancestry, it is called outcrossing. Crossbreeding is breeding of two different breeds, Like in poultry, there are about 4 exotic breeds, American class, English class, Mediterranean class, and India, Asiatic class, Like one variety, that is American breed, is crossed with English breed, or English breed is crossed with Mediterranean breed, or Mediterranean breed may be crossed with Asiatic breed. Then that becomes the crossbreeding, So outcrossing is within a breed, different strains are crossed, and if different breeds are crossed, you call it crossbreeding, Like Hisserdale is a hybrid variety of breed of sheep, This is produced by crossing Merino and eaves of some other variety of sheep. Merino variety is crossed with eaves of some other variety of sheep. You get a hybrid variety called Hisserdale sheep, So it's the best example for crossbreeding, where two different breeds, Merino variety is one breed, eaves of the other sheep is another variety. Both of them are crossed, to get a hybrid variety called Hisserdale, Now I shall give another example for the crossbreeding. I'll repeat this example for the crossbreeding. Now Merino ram, that is male of Merino. I'll repeat once again. I'll write neatly here. For the crossbreeding, the important example for crossbreeding the ram of Merino variety is crossed with eaves of Bicanary. Eaves of Bicanary. You get a hybrid variety called Hisserdale variety. Hisserdale variety of sheep. So this is the best example for crossbreeding where Merino is one breed and Bicanary is another breed. Two different breeds are crossed to produce a hybrid variety called Hisserdale Called best example for crossbreeding The next is the species hybridization where different species, the animals which belong to different species are crossed The young one that is produced by this method can be called hybrid, but most of the hybrids turn out to be sterile Most of the hybrids turn out to be sterile. Now I shall give some examples for the species hybridization Female horse called mare is crossed with male donkey female horse mare is crossed with male donkey here now, you get young one called mule. The hybrid called mule. In the mule here now, female is fertile whereas male is sterile. Male mule is mostly used as a drought variety here now. Okay. Then another example here now, male horse is called stallion. Stallion is crossed with female donkey. Female donkey, you get a hybrid variety called hinny. You get a hybrid variety called hinny here now. Okay. Male horse, stallion is crossed with female donkey, a hybrid variety called hinny is produced here now. Then the same way there are several varieties here now, like lion is crossed with tigress, a hybrid variety called liger is produced. Hybrid variety called liger is produced. The same way tiger is crossed with lioness, you get a hybrid variety called tigon. Hybrid variety called tigon is produced here. Okay. So like that all these come under species hybridization, where the young one is called hybrid here now. Most of the hybrids turn out to be sterile, but however hybrids exhibit certain desirable characteristics with regard to fleshing characters, with regard to fast growing character, or being resistant, or taking less fodder and giving you more milk, or laying more number of eggs. Like that they exhibit several desirable characteristics as superior characters. The superiority of the hybrids exhibited due to species hybridization or crossbreeding is called hybrid vigor or heterosis. Hybrid vigor or heterosis. Now the term hybrid vigor or heterosis was coined by Shell. The term heterosis was coined by Shell, and according to Shell and East, the heterosis is due to heterozygosity of the hybrid here now. Like when two unrelated animals are crossed here now, the genes that are transmitted to the offspring will be of heterozygous nature, and because of the heterozygous nature here now, the young one exhibits desirable characteristics in several ways here now. So this heterozygosity accomplishes the desirability characters in the young one here now, which can be called hybrid vigor or heterosis as proposed by Shell and East, and the term hybrid vigor was coined by Shell here now. Now we shall talk about certain assisted reproductive technologies in cattle here now. Under this first one you have MOUT, multiple ovulation embryo transfer. Multiple ovulation embryo transfer. In this, first the cow is given a hormonal injection consisting of FSH and LH. A cow is given a hormone consisting of FSH and LH. These two hormones now induce follicular growth. They induce follicular growth and maturation of ova. Maturation of ova. You know very well that FSH is responsible for follicular growth, but LH brings about ovulation. So when both the hormones in combination are administered into the cow here now, the cow, instead of laying one egg for every reproductive cycle, it lays about 6 to 8 eggs per reproductive cycle here now. Okay, 6 to 8 eggs per reproductive cycle. 6 to 8 eggs per reproductive cycle. Now that particular cow having multiple ova is administered with the semen collected from a meritorious male. Collected from meritorious, that is artificial administration, artificial insemination is administered here now. Artificial insemination is administered by collecting the semen from a meritorious male. Or if the conditions are not conducive in the female for fertilization here now, the ova are collected from the cow and the semen is collected from the male, and both of them are made to fertilize in the lab under sterile conditions. Then later on, the zygote either in 8-celled stage or 16 celled stage is injected into a surrogate mother. Injected into a surrogate mother here now. If it is 8 celled stage, it is injected into the fallopian tube, which is called gift. So gift is executed when the embryo is in 8 celled stage. It is called gamete intrafallopian transfer. Or gift is also executed when in a male here now 7 content fertility rate is very low, or the number of the active sperm content is very less here now. Then artificial insemination is done where the sperms are directly injected into the fallopian tube here now. That is also called gift, where gamete intrafallopian transfer you call it. Zygote of 8 cell stage is transferred into the fallopian tube, or sometimes if the male has low sperm content here now, artificial insemination process, the sperms are directly injected into the fallopian tube to induce fertilization process in the fallopian tube here now. Okay. Or if it is more than 8 cell stage, if the zygote is more than 8 cell stage here now, it is transferred into the uterus here now. Intrauterine transfer you call it. That is called intrauterine transfer. So IUT is adapted when the zygote is 16 cell stage here now. Gift is adapted when the zygote is 8 cell stage here now. Or sometimes there is another method called ZIFT here now. ZIFT is adapted here now for the 8 celled embryo. Here gift is most probably for the gametes are inserted into the fallopian tube. That is when in the male when the sperm content is very low or fertility rate is very low here now, agile sperm content is less here now. The semen is collected from the meritorious male. That semen is injected into the fallopian tube, which you are calling it gamete intrafallopian transfer. Okay, and the zygote, in case of zygote here now, if it is 8 cell stage, this technique is adapted here now. ZIFT you call it, zygote intrafallopian transfer. If the zygote is more than 8 cell stage here now, it is inserted into the uterus where you call it IUT. So your students will make it very clear for you. Gift is adapted when the sperm content in the male is very low, or the motility rate is very less, or the active sperm content is very less in the semen here now. That is, the semen is directly injected into the fallopian tube. We are calling it gamete intrafallopian transfer here now. Then after fertilization, if the zygote of 8 cell stage is inserted into the fallopian tube, we call it ZIFT here now, zygote intrafallopian transfer. If zygote is more than 8 cell stage, maybe of 16 cell stage, it is administered into the uterus by a method called intrauterine method here now. Then there is another method adapted in the lab here now, that is ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection here now. That is, in the lab itself, the sperm is directly introduced into the corona radiata and zona pellucida of the ovum to enhance the rate of fertilization here now. To minimize the risk of unfertilization, enhance the rate of fertilization here now, the sperm is directly injected into the cytoplasm part of the egg here now, where you call it intracytoplasmic sperm injection here now. So all these methods are adapted here now under ART technologies in the cattle here now. Then next you have cryopreservation method. Cryopreservation method is also adapted for the meritorious bulls here now. Like the semen is collected from the bull here now, and that semen is stored in the liquid nitrogen at minus 176 degrees centigrade. That semen is stored at minus 176 degrees centigrade here now using liquid nitrogen, and that semen in frozen condition can be kept for several years here now, and it is a dependable source for the collection of the semen here now. It can be transported even to the far-flung areas here now, and small amount of semen can be administered into the many cows or buffaloes here now. And this is the safest method to avoid the spread of different kinds of sexually transmitted diseases or venereal diseases here now. So that method of preservation of the semen of meritorious males is called cryopreservation, where the semen is stored in liquid nitrogen at minus 176 degrees centigrade here now. Now poultry here now. In India, Andhra Pradesh occupies first position in the production of poultry, whereas India is ranking third in the world. India is ranking third in the world in the production of poultry here now. Okay, China occupies first position in the production of poultry here now. China occupies first position in the production of poultry. India occupies third position in the production of poultry here now. Professor B.V. Rao is the father of Indian poultry here now. Father of Indian poultry. And he is also the founder of NECC. He is also the founder of NECC, National Egg Coordination Committee, which deals with transport and import of eggs at national and international levels. Not only eggs, even hybrid variety of layers and broilers and so on and so forth. So he is the founder of NECC and father of Indian poultry, Professor B.V. Rao here now. Now in the poultry, basically you find two main strains here now. Broilers, the birds which are used for meat consumption purpose are called broilers here now. Broilers are usually reared up to 2 to 2.5 months here now. That is 8 to 10 weeks. Within 8 to 10 weeks they attain kitchen table size. It is the right age for them to be sold in the market here now. Okay, so at what age do they attain kitchen table size? 2 to 2.5 months or 8 to 10 weeks they attain kitchen table size, where they have the tender meat here now, and they have highest marketable value at that particular age here now. Now the most popular broilers are Vencob, Ross, Hubbard. Vencob, Ross, Hubbard are the most popular broilers here now. Then you have layer variety here now. Layers are the birds which are reared for egg consumption purpose here now. They usually start laying eggs from 21st or 22nd week onwards. 21st or 22nd week onwards, up to 72 week they lay eggs here now. And the most popular layers in India are bobcock, Hyline, Essex, Puna Pearl. Bobcock, Hyline, Essex, Puna Pearl are the most popular layer varieties here now. Now once egg laying capacity is over, the birds are referred to as culls. The birds which have lost egg laying capacity are called culls. Okay, they may be the birds which have lost egg laying capacity are sick birds, the non-productive birds, or prolapsed birds, all of them are called culls. So sick birds, non-productive birds, and prolapsed birds, all of them are called culls. Now such birds are isolated from rest of the flock and they are sold at throwaway prices in the market here now. Then in the poultry technology, certain methods are adapted here now for better yield. Okay, they are, first one is debeaking process here now. Debeaking is trimming of the upper beak below nostril level. Trimming of the upper beak below nostril level called debeaking. Debeaking is done twice here now. First debeaking is done when the bird is 10 days old, and second debeaking is done when the bird is 13th or 14th week old. First debeaking is done when the bird is 10 days old, and second debeaking is done when the bird is 13th or 14th week old here now. When debeaking is done, it prevents cannibalism among birds. And it also enables them to eat soft food. Enables them to eat mash. The food that is given to the birds is in the form of powdery food, thoroughly ground. Grains and all the things are thoroughly ground and they are given in powdery form here now. If they have pointed beak, they find it difficult to gulp the food here now. So the debeaking process enables them to eat soft food. At the same time, it prevents cannibalism here now. Then next we have another technique called cannibalism. Cannibalism is when the birds are placed together in a particular cage or in a house in case of deep litter system here now. Birds do not get along with each other, they start fighting with each other. Several reasons account for that, maybe because of overcrowding, improper ventilation, too much thickness of litter, overeating food, or undernutrition here now, or improper light here now, okay. Then too much thickness of litter, like many faulty location of feed hoppers, faulty location of water devices, like many reasons account for this. Sometimes even pellet eating also may induce them to go for fighting here now. So birds pecking at each other can be called cannibalism. If you encourage the birds go for cannibalism, farmer will be at loss because they get injured, and injuries in turn promote the growth of different kinds of bacteria, fungi and viruses. So it has to be minimized here now among the poultry birds, and it is minimized by a method called debeaking here now. The next is prolapse. When the bird lays eggs here now, goes on laying eggs here now, the muscles in the vent region sometimes become weak. As a result of weakening of the muscles here now, the oviducts are not retained within the abdominal cavity. They start protruding through the cloaca here now. So protrusion of oviduct through cloaca can be called prolapse, or sometimes it may be because of excess deposition of adipose tissue in the abdominal cavity. When the abdomen is deposited with excess amount of fat here now, oviducts are not accommodated easily in the abdominal cavity. They start protruding out to the cloaca. So such birds with protruded oviduct are called prolapsed birds, and prolapsed birds are also culled and kept separately here now, so that other birds do not get affected by this here now. Because once the prolapsed birds are found, identified in the flock here now, the birds which are very nasty, they start pricking in the cloacal region. Consequently, they get different kinds of diseases, they get injured here now. So such birds should be isolated the moment they are identified here now. Okay, so prolapse you call it here now. The next is brailing technique. Brailing is clipping of the feathers here now. Okay, the birds should be prevented flying very high in the deep litter system, otherwise they may fly very high and damage the tubelets and all. So clipping of the feathers to prevent them flying very high is called brailing technique, you know. The next you have dubbing process. Trimming of wattle and comb in the young ones is called dubbing process, you know. Trimming of wattle and comb. If they are not trimmed here now, wattle and comb grow extensively and thereby they may get injured in the process of cannibalism here now. So in order to prevent the extensive growth or excess growth of comb and wattle here now, they should be trimmed, but the trimming should be done when the bird is very young. If it is undertaken in the middle age or old birds, you know, it may cause heavy bleeding. As a result of profuse bleeding, the birds may die, you know. So dubbing is done with an early age to prevent cannibalism here now. Now deworming, giving different types of anti-helminthic drugs to the birds is called deworming. First deworming is done when the bird is 13th or 14th week old. At the age of 13th or 14th week, first deworming is done, and it should be repeated once in 40 days so that birds don't get affected by different kinds of helminthic worms, you know. So these are some of the management aspects, you know, that should be undertaken by the farm of a better yield and to make his business a lucrative business, you know. Now broiler or fryer, already learnt about this. The bird of 8 to 10 weeks old or 2 to 2.5 months old, which is exclusively grown for meat consumption purpose, is called broiler or fryer here now. The next we have stag. A mature male bird where the muscles are very hard is called stag here now. Capon, a bird which is castrated, the male bird which is castrated here now is called capon here now. The young male bird is called cockerel. Young male bird is called cockerel here now. A mature male bird, preferably a cock, can be called rooster here now. A male or a female bird of 3 to 4 months old is called rooster here now. A male or a female bird of 3 to 4 months old is called rooster here now. Layer. The bird which is, the female bird which is mostly grown for egg consumption purpose is called layer hen. A young female bird is called pullet hen. Young female bird is called pullet. Now, the feed that is given to the birds is called mash because it's thoroughly ground in powdery form. So, the different kinds of medicines, drugs, antibiotics can be easily mixed with them. It can be given to the birds. Now, the feed that is given to the layers, to start with here now, you have chick mash or brooder mash. It is given at an early age now. Then this is followed by grower mash, and this is followed by pre-layer mash, and this is in turn followed by layer mash. So chick mash or brooder mash, followed by grower mash, followed by pre-layer mash, followed by layer mash. These are the different types of feed that are given to the layers at different age groups. The same way for the broilers, you have chick mash. Broilers also are given chick mash when they are very young. Then followed by pre-starter mash. Then followed by starter mash. Then finally the feed that is given to them is called finish mash. That is feed that is given to them from 7th week onwards, because they are kept latest 7th week or 8th week at the most 10th week So the feed that is given to them from 7th week onwards till they are sold in the market is called finish mash. So for the broilers, chick mash, pre-starter mash, starter mash, finish mash are given, and for the layers there is the feed that is given to them Now nutritive value of meat and egg. If you take first egg, protein, fat and energy in kilocalories. So take egg Egg protein content is about 13.3, fat content is 11.5. It gives 173 kilocalories of energy. Then meat, if you take it gives 20% protein, then 3.5% meat, fat and it gives 1.109 kilocalories of energy. I repeat once again. Egg contains 13.3 protein, 11.5% of fat, and energy in kilocalories is 173. Meat, that is 100 grams. If you take a weight of 100 grams meat of 100 grams contains 20% protein, 3.5% fat, and it gives 109 kilocalories of energy. Egg contains 13.3% of protein 11.5% of fat, and energy, it gives 173 kilocalories of energy. Then the biological value of egg is 94, and protein efficiency ratio is about 4.5. Biological value of egg is 94 and protein efficiency ratio of egg is 4.5 Certain important viral diseases of poultry are A. Rannicate disease, is also called Newcastle syndrome. Number 2, Gumbaro disease. Number 3, Marek's disease. These are the important viral diseases of poultry Then important bacterial diseases of poultry are fowl cholera, CRD, chronic respiratory disease, infectious coryza. This is also called ROOP. So fowl cholera, chronic respiratory disorder, that is CRD, and infectious coryza, ROOP, are the important bacterial diseases. Important fungal diseases are aspergillosis, is also called Brooder's pneumonia, aflatoxicosis, and thrush. These are the important fungal diseases, So important viral, bacterial and fungal diseases of poultry, Now avian flu is a disorder that spreads from poultry birds to the human being, It is caused by a virus called H5N1 virus. H5N1 virus. H5N1 virus spreads from the poultry birds to human being, Human being also will be dry cough, fever and anemia. Sometimes it becomes even fatal, Now, fishery. Peter Artedi is the father of fisheries. Father of fisheries, Now fisheries is of two types, capture fishery and culture fishery. In capture fishery, seed is not sown by the farmer, but it is reaped from the natural water bodies. It is called capture fishery. The capture fishery which is done in marine water is again of two types, It is offshore fishery, where it is done in deep seas, where depth of the water is more, away from the coastal bed, and coastal fishery, Coastal fishery is also called inshore fishery. Inshore fishery. The most important fish that are caught along the west and east coast in India, mostly the Kerala coast, are mackerel, sardines, Bombay duck, mackerel, sardine, Bombay duck, and pomfrets, silver pomfret. Silver pomfret, Now among these, mackerels are caught abundantly along the west coast, and mackerel is considered as the national fish of India. Mackerel is also called bhangda. The scientific name is Rastreliger kanagurta. It is considered as national fish of India because caught abundantly along the west coast, and it is the most relishable fish by most of the Indians. It has got highest even market value also. Okay, so mackerels, sardines, Bombay ducks, pomfrets are abundantly caught along the west coast. So marine fisheries of two types. Marine capture fisheries of two types: offshore fishery and inshore fishery. Inshore fishery is also called coastal fishery. Same way, capture fishery is done even in fresh water. If it is done in fresh water and brackish water, if it is done in fresh water and brackish water, it is called inland fishery. If it is done in fresh water and brackish water, it is called inland fishery. And if the fish are cultured in specified ponds, man-made ponds or natural ponds, okay, if the care is taken right from sowing of the seed until they are reaped, you call it culture fishery. The culture fishery that is undertaken in ponds is called pisciculture. Pisciculture. The culture fishery that is undertaken in lakes is called leucostrine culture. Leucostrine culture. Okay, the pisciculture or the culture that is undertaken in marine water is called mariculture. If it is undertaken in creeks or in shallow water zones of the seabed, it is called mariculture here now. Now, for pisciculture, a farmer requires nearly 3 to 4 types of ponds. Different age group fish are cultured in different ponds. The different age group fish are, first, the sperms of the fish are called milt, and ova of the fish are called roe. Ova that are released by the female are called roe. Sperms released by the male are called milt. Fertilized eggs are called spawn. Fertilized eggs are called spawn. Now, the fertilization is carried out in a type separate pond here now. Now, the spawn grows into the young ones called fries. Young ones called fries. Usually, the young ones of 5 to 6 millimeters can be called fry. The young ones of 5 to 6 millimeters can be called fry. Now, the fries transform into fingerlings. Fries transform into fingerlings. About 20 to 25 millimeters in size, that is 2.5 centimeters, you can say. 20 to 25 millimeters can be called fingerlings. Fingerlings ultimately transform into table size fish. Fingerlings transform into table size fish. So there are different stages: spawn, fry, fingerling, and table size fish. Now you require different types of ponds. The pond that is used for growing spawn is called hatching hopper. Hatching hopper is the one which is used for fertilization process and growing hatchlings, that is spawn here now. Now from the hatching hopper, the young ones are collected and they are transferred into nurseries. Nurseries, hatchlings transform into fries. Hatchlings just in 15 to 20 days span, they transform into fries. So nurseries are the ponds which are meant for growing fries. Now from nurseries, they are transferred to rearing pond. In rearing pond the fries transform into fingerlings. That is around the span of 3 months the fries transform into fingerlings in rearing pond Then finally they are collected from rearing pond and transferred into stock pond. In stock pond, then another 3 to 4 months span they transform into kitchen table size. So hatchlings, hatching hopper is used for growing hatchlings and the fertilization purpose. The nurseries are used for growing fries. Rearing ponds are used for growing fingerlings. Stock ponds are used for growing kitchen table size fish. That is, fingerlings are kept in the stock ponds till they attain kitchen table size. So the different types of ponds that are required for the pisciculture process. Now the most economical method of rearing of fish is called composite fish culture. It is also called polyculture. Composite fish culture or polyculture. In this, the different varieties of fish, having complementary feeding habits are reared. The fish which can get along with each other easily, the fish which have different types of feeding habits, the fish which grow very fast, the fish which can exploit different feed of the pond or exploit productivity of the pond completely are reared in the composite fish culture or polyculture method. In this, 3 varieties of indigenous fish and 3 varieties of exotic fish are used. 3 of indigenous fish and 3 of exotic fish are used. And what are they? You have number 1, katla. It is a surface feeder. And it feeds on zooplanktons. Then second one you have Labiorohita. It is a column feeder. Column feeder, that is, it grows mostly in the middle of the pond, doesn't go either up or bottom, and it is a periphyton feeder. Periphyton feeder. Then at the bottom you have Sirhinus mrigala. Sirhinus mrigala. It is also indigenous. It is a bottom feeder. Feeds mostly on decomposing food. On decomposing food. So these are three indigenous varieties. Now along with these three indigenous varieties, exotic varieties are cultured here now. Here you have a fish called hypothalamic thighs mollitrix. It is commonly called silver carp. It is also a surface feeder, but it is a phytoplankton feeder. It feeds on phytoplankton so that both of them do not fight with each other for food. This feeds on zooplanktons and the other one feeds, that is hypothalamic thighs mollitrix, commonly called silver carp, feeds on phytoplanktons. So both of them easily get along with each other. Get along with each other easily. Okay. Then middle one you have Ctenopharyngodon idella. Ctenopharyngodon idella. This is a column feeder commonly called grass carp. Now this grass carp is a voracious macrovegetation feeder here now. Then at the bottom you have Cyprinus carpio, which is called common carp or gold carp. Now both of them once again never fight with each other for food. The food that is rejected by Sirhinus is consumed by Cyprinus carpio. So these three of them are exotic variety and these three are indigenous variety. Culturing of all the six varieties in a pond is called composite fish culture or polyculture here now. It is the most lucrative method of rearing of the fish here now because they are the fast growing varieties here now, and people relish this food here now, and they are all highly nutritious here now. They are resistant to different kinds of diseases here now. They make use of productivity of the pond to a larger extent here now, and they have got high marketable value here now. So because of all these superior characteristics here now, or the advantageous characters, farmers prefer to go for composite fish culture other than monoculture here now. Then a method is adapted to produce seed in the farm itself here now. If the seed is collected from the wild here now, it is a heterogeneous mixture. It may contain the seed of weed fish, it may contain the seed of carnivore fish, it may contain the seed of non-economical fish and the fish which do not have much human consumption value. As a result, farmer will be at loss. In order to avoid that, most of the farmers produce seed in the farm itself by a method called induced breeding or hypophysation. If the fish are made to breed in a confined water mass by giving pituitary injection, it is called induced breeding or hypophysation. The fish are made to breed in a confined water mass by giving pituitary injection. Unless you give pituitary injection, fishes do not breed in a confined water mass. So pituitary is collected from either spoiled fish or from any other animal. It is thoroughly ground and it is given to the male and female fish. And pituitary extract that is prepared that contains FSH hormone. You know very well that it contains FSH hormone so that it enhances the follicular growth very fast in female and enhances the spermatogenesis process in male. Now in case this pituitary extract is not available, you can go for even synthetic hormones like cyanoharin, ovaprim, HCG, or some of the synthetic hormones available in the market. Even these extracts can be given to the fish here now to make them breed in confined water mass, which is called induced breeding or hypophysation. By induced breeding, you get desirable variety of the seed. Like a farmer is interested in culturing only katla, the seed of katla can be produced by inbreeding method here now. In contrast to this, when the seed is collected from the wild, it is an amalgam of different types of fish, where the farmer is likely to incur huge loss. Shark liver oil, cod liver oil contain abundant amount of vitamin A and vitamin D. Vitamin A and vitamin D here now. Then there is a byproduct called shagreen. Shagreen is extracted from placoid scales of sharks, preferably scoliodon, and this is used as polishing agent for wooden furniture. Polishing agent for wooden furniture. Then there is another one called isinglass. Is extracted from air bladder of carps, that is fish, you know. It is used in clarification of liquids, clarification of different types of liquids. Then fish guano, it is used as a fertilizer and it is prepared from spoiled fish. The spoiled fish are collected, they are thoroughly ground, and they are used as a fertilizer called fish guano here now. Then there is another byproduct called fish meal. It is prepared from the extract of fish oil industry, either spoiled fish or the pulp that is obtained from fish oil industry. It is sun dried and thoroughly ground, and a powdery food is made here now. It is called fish meal. Fish meal is used as cattle and poultry feed. Fish meal is used as cattle and poultry feed here now. So these are some of the most important fish byproducts. Then the oil extracted from tuna, sardine contains omega-3 fatty acids. The oil that is extracted from tunas and sardines now, it contains omega-3 fatty acids now. These omega-3 fatty acids, they reduce cholesterol level and they also have anti-cancer properties. They also have anti-cancer properties, you know. It is extracted from tunas and sardines and even salmon fish. Salmon fish is also used for the extraction of oils which contain abundant amount of omega-3 fatty acids, you know. Apiculture. Rearing of honeybees is called apiculture. Rearing of honeybees is called apiculture here now. Now there are 2 to 3 different species of honeybees here now. You have Apis mellifera. It's commonly called European honeybee. It is reared on a large scale by the farmers here now to produce honey here now. The most common type of honeybee which can be domesticated easily here now, yields more amount of honey here now. Then next one is Apis cerana indica. It's commonly called Indian honeybee. It is also used, but used to a lesser extent here now. Then next you have another one, Apis dorsata. This is commonly called giant honeybee. It is mostly ferocious variety. It cannot be domesticated easily. It is not a docile variety here now. So mostly the honey is extracted from the hive where it is constructed mostly in the forests, on the huge mountains and all that, you know. So Apis mellifera is the most common variety, Apis indica, Apis dorsata. These are the three important species of honeybees, and honeybees belong to the order Hymenoptera. Hymenoptera, and they have chewing lapping type of mouth parts. Chewing and lapping type of mouth parts. Now honeybee is a social insect. The colony consists of queen, drone and workers. Now queen is the largest among the entire colony, largest bee among all the other bees here now present in the colony here now. Its main function is to lay eggs. It lays eggs at the rate of 2000 per day. On attaining maturity here now, it releases a pheromone into the hive to lure the drones here now. Then after emitting that pheromone, it doesn't stay in the hive here now, it starts flying, where it is followed by the drones here now. Fertilization takes place in the air itself. And during this nuptial fight, it receives not less than 2 crores of sperms here now. It stores all its sperms in the spermatheca and comes back to the hive and starts laying eggs here now. It lays 2 kinds of eggs, some of them are fertilized and some of them are unfertilized here now. And the queen always evolves from the fertilized eggs you know. Okay, it lays 2 kinds of eggs, so it arises from fertilized eggs. Fertilized eggs. These fertilized eggs here now, and drones arise from unfertilized eggs. Workers arise from fertilized eggs. But the fertilized eggs here now that are placed in queen cell, they are given royal jelly right from the day one. They are given royal jelly right from the day one. Right from the day one till they hatch here now, they are fed with a nutritious food called royal jelly. Whereas the other eggs here now, they are given royal jelly for only 4 days. From 5th day onwards, they are given bee bread. They are fed with bee bread. They are fed with bee bread. Whereas the young ones of the fertilized eggs here now are given royal jelly that are placed in queen cell. Royal jelly is a mixture of vitamins and salivary secretion of hypopharynx of workers. It contains vitamins, contains more amount of honey and salivary secretion that oozes out to the hypopharynx of certain workers. Whereas the bee bread contains more amount of pollen, less nectar and no salivary secretion. It does not contain salivary secretion of workers here now. So due to lack of salivary secretion here now, it is considered as not a wholesome food here now. Mostly the royal jelly is considered as a nutritious and wholesome food that is given to the eggs that are placed in the queen cell here now. Then all the other eggs, they are given bee bread from 5th day onwards. 5th day contains more amount of pollen, less amount of nectar and does not contain salivary secretion of the workers here now. Now the fertilized eggs which are fed with bee bread, they transform into workers. Probably because of malnutrition or undernutrition, they become sterile females. They become sterile females, and unfertilized eggs that are fed with bee bread here now transform into drones here now. Now the queen function is to lay eggs here now. The day it stops laying eggs, it is driven out of the hive or it is killed here now. Killed by either a soldier, that is a worker, or sometimes young queen here now. The process of driving out of the queen from the queen cell or the process of killing of the queen by a soldier is called supersedure. I repeat once again, the process of killing of the queen which has lost its egg laying capacity by soldier or driving out of the particular queen from the beehive is called supersedure here now. Okay. then it is the largest and it has a maximum lifespan. It remains alive for 5 years. Queen has got the maximum lifespan among all the bees, you know, it remains alive for 5 years, you know. Then drone. Drone is also robust with well developed wings, you know. Robust with well developed wings. Well developed wings, and the only function of the drone is to copulate with the queen here now. And the drones develop from the queen by haploid parthenogenesis. I shall tell you about that process. Now queen has 32 chromosomes, that is 30 autosomes plus 2 sex chromosomes, 2 allosomes, and drone is haploid. It contains 15 autosomes plus only 1 allosome. Only 1 allosome. Now the queen lays 2 kinds of eggs here now. Some eggs contain 15 plus 1 allosome and some of them contain 15 autosomes plus 1 allosome. Okay. Now these here it produces sperms with 15 autosomes plus 1. Here meiosis does not take place because already it exists in haploid form, so meiosis does not take place in the drone. However, in the queen here now, meiosis takes place. As a result of that, haploid ova are produced here now. Now if this ovum fuses with this sperm, you get a zygote with 30 autosomes plus 2 allosomes. This develops into queen if it is fed with royal jelly. It develops into worker if it is fed with bee bread. Okay. Now this ovum doesn't fuse with the sperm. It develops into drone through haploid parthenogenesis. Haploid parthenogenesis, which is also called arhinitoki. Also called arhinitoki, you know. So these are the drones, you know, which are haploid. On the basis of this, it is fancifully stated that drones have no father but they have grandfather. Drones have no father but they have grandfather. The drones always develop from the unfertilized eggs through haploid parthenogenesis, or which is also called arhinitoki, you know. Now the drones are the robust, you know, with well developed wings, you know. They live only for a few weeks, you know. Then their own function is, the only function or the sole function entrusted to them is to fertilize the queen or to copulate with the queen in the air here now. Now workers here now develop from unfertilized eggs which are fed with bee bread here now. All the eggs hatch into young ones called grubs. The young ones of honeybee or the larvae of honeybee are called grubs. They undergo holometabolous metamorphosis. Holometabolous metamorphosis. Okay, holometabolous metamorphosis, and workers remain alive for 2 to 3 months. And on the basis of the work entrusted to them, workers are of different types now. They are builders, that is they build the hive. Builders secrete wax now. Second to fourth abdominal segments contain wax glands now. Those wax glands secrete wax. With the help of wax, they construct the beehive. Then next you have feeders. Feeders, the main function of the feeders is to feed the entire colony, all the grubs First 4 days with royal jelly, then 5th day onwards bee bread or royal jelly. Royal jelly only to the grub that is placed in the queen cell Then next you have foragers. Foragers are the bees that go early in the morning in search of food Their main function is to collect nectar and pollen from flowers. They communicate with each other through waggling dance. They communicate with each other through waggling dance. Waggling dance tells them about the source of food and the distance of the food flowers. It tells them about source of food and distance of food flowers. If food flowers are nearer to the hive, they exhibit a dance called round dance. If food flowers are far away from the hive, they exhibit a dance called waggling dance. This waggling dance was decoded by Carl von Frisch, for which he was awarded Nobel Prize. He was awarded Nobel Prize for decoding the bee language, that is Carl von Frisch. So the waggling dance tells them about the source of food flowers and distance of food flowers. And honeybees communicate with each other through olfaction here now. They communicate with each other through olfaction. Now the foragers, they have got pollen brushes on the tarsi of all the 3 pairs of legs, and pollen baskets are present on the tibia of metathoracic legs. On the tibia of metathoracic legs, pollen baskets are present here now. Foragers are there. Then next you have fanners. Fanners are the workers which regulate temperature in the beehive. Next you have soldiers. Soldiers are the scout workers which are meant for protecting the hive here now. They have got a powerful sting here now, okay, where they safeguard the entire hive. Then next you have repairers. Repairers repair the hive. They repair the hive with the help of propolis. Propolis is a kind of glue. Propolis is a kind of glue that is extracted from flowers. They use this propolis to join the broken ends of the hive, damaged part of the hive. Then there is another substance called balm. Balm is also extracted from flowers. Balm is used to whitewash the entire hive internally. Then next you have cleaners. The cleaner function is to keep the hive tidy, to clean the hive every day here now. That is a function of cleaners here now. Okay. Then next you have here now, okay, nurseries. Nurseries function is to store the food in the form of nectar and pollen here now. So on the basis of the function, they are divided into different types like feeders, then foragers, fanners, soldiers, repairers, cleaners, and nurseries. So different types of the worker bees. Now honey is prepared in the crop region of workers due to enzymatic activity. The nectar mixes with pollen grain. It undergoes enzymatic reaction to form nutritious food called honey. Honey contains vitamins, minerals, abundant amount of fructose, glucose, water, and pigments. Okay, it is a nutritious food. It is given to the convalescents, given even to the children, growing children, okay, as a supplementary food. Then the next one is propolis. As I told you, it is extracted from the flowers. It is used to reduce inflammation and superficial burns. Next, bee wax is used for preparation of different types of polishes, candles. Okay, it is used in candles, polishes, paints. Okay, bee wax is used here now. Then next, bee venom extracted from the soldiers. It is used to cure arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and arthritis. Used to cure arthritis and rheumatoid. Then wax is also used as a laxative. The wax is also used as a laxative for the people, those who are constipating. Okay, so these are some of the advantages of the apiculture here now. Then now a group of artificial honey beehives is called apiary. A group of artificial beehives which are man-made, which are used for growing the honeybees in the field, are called apiary. And the rearing of the honeybees is called apiculture.